Hi there, Karen here, with something a little bit different today. So I've decided to have a go at a bit of art journaling. I've been watching Inky Quill's art journaling videos for a while, and I really enjoy watching them, but I never really thought it was something I could do because I can't draw for toffees, and a lot of her pages seem to involve drawing beautiful ladies. And then I found this YouTube channel called Maremi's Small Art, and it's a lady called Marta whose channel it is. And she does lots of art journaling. I suppose they're tutorials really. So she talks about how to get started, how to break the blank page. And she just tells you to have a go, do whatever feels right, and don't overthink it. And she just, a lot of her pages are quite simple. She does some really beautiful stuff as well, but stuff that, but also some things that seem achievable. So I thought I'd give it a go. And she suggests getting an old book and sticking a few of the pages together to give them a bit thickness, which I've done here. And then I'm just gessoing my first double page, and I thought I'd just give it a go, and I thank her for just giving me that push to give it a try, because I really enjoyed it. And so I thought the best way to start was to start with some of my favourite things, my favourite colours, my favourite motifs, and I thought the first thing I would use was some of these bits of paper napkin that I had a few pieces in my drawer. I love this paper napkin. I think actually I've bought a couple more today. I love paper napkins because they can really give it a beautiful soft background, and they're very easy to use. You can just tear them into strips or into small pieces and just stick them around the page. And I've seen other people using them, and they're very effective. So I'm using Mod Podge, which is a sort of sealant and a glue, to stick this to the page. You just peel off the backing and just tear it into the strips that you like, and just put it on the page, which is what I'm doing here. So I put one piece down the middle to try and reinforce the centre of the page a bit, and then I've just got a few other pieces dotted around with different bits of the flowers, really pretty blue flowers on this minty background. I think that's just so pretty. Oh, I'm just having a quick slurp of my tea. And then I've got out some of these acrylic paints by Vicky Bouton. They were in a pack that I got from a Hip Hip Club several months ago. And the first colour I'm using is a beautiful bluey turquoisey colour, and it's called Saltwater Taffy. That's gorgeous. It's really bright, so I thought I won't use too much of that. And then I spend the rest of the time toning it down, really. So I've tried using this pale minty colour called Daiquiri Ice to tone it down, but I didn't have much left in the bottle. I've used it quite a bit on another project, and as you can see, I'm really struggling to get any out. So I have to get out the white acrylic paint just so that I can make some new shades of the colour. So I just keep mixing the colours together, keep mixing in the white, mixing in the little greeny colour, and trying to create some different shades of this bluey colour. This is such a beautiful colour scheme. I love all these colours, and I just keep adding and keep mixing, just using my glass mat that I work on as my mixing palette, because it's very easy to clean off afterwards, and I was a bit lazy, couldn't be bothered to go and find my craft mat, so I thought I'd just do it on there, and I can just wipe it clean. It's really easy to clean, so that's what I did. So I'm just keep blodging and splodging and just doing bits where I felt like it's a little bit different. It seems quite strange doing a voiceover for an art journal page because I don't really know what I'm doing. It's not like doing a scrapbooking page, or at least I have an idea of what I'm aiming for. I really don't know where I'm going with this. I've got out introduced another colour. There's a lavender. It's a pearlised lilac. It's really pretty. I've had it in my stash for ages. This wasn't in the Vicky Bouton pack. As you can see on the mat there, it's just a pearly, shiny, lilac-y colour, and it's really pretty. And it goes beautifully with the blues. So this is one of my absolute favourite colour combinations. And the final one I'm using is also from the Vicky Bouton pack. It's called Plum Pudding, and it's this luscious, gorgeous purple. It's a real pop of colour. As you can see, it really, really pops off the page. And so I didn't put too much on because I thought this is really quite a bright colour. And then I just mix it in with some white, mix it in with some other lilac, just to do a few more softer shades as well. And I'm really liking how this colour combination is coming together. And I'm just doing a few little bits of white here and there, just to soften it a bit. I do end up covering some of the larger, that large splodge of white. I will cover up again later. But I'm just putting a few bits of white here and there. And you see they're a little bit tainted with some of the other paints. And I'm just having fun, really. Splodging. Now I'm drying. And I've got out a little stencil that a friend of mine gave me. And it's a sort of leaf fronds or sprigs or something. A bit leafy pattern, slightly stylised, I suppose. And just some white acrylic paint and a paint dabber. Or a blending, I think it's a blending, usually used as a blending tool when I've seen it used by many people for putting paint through stencils, and it works really well. So I'm using the different stencils, the different patterns that came on this stencil to create the pattern. So I'm using the white there, and then for some reason I had a bit of a rush of blood to the head and decided to go for the purple on this one. I suppose because it was very blue there on that side, so I thought I'd put a bit of purple there. Which is fine, it looks fine. I hadn't really planned that. I was going to go for the white for the whole thing, and then I thought, no, I'm going to put a bit of purple on this bit. So that's that one, and it's slightly ombre effect. And then the last one again, back to the white. I'm going to put a bit of the white acrylic paint. You don't really need a lot of paint, as you can see. You only need a little tiny bit just to dab it through the stencil. And it's so effective over the top of all the other paints to have this bit splash of white over the top. It really, I think it's really very effective and kind of knocks back some of the bright colours a little bit as well. So that's that one. And it's the other way up to the one when I used the same one on the other page, but upside down. And then that bit of white, I'm just covering in. I thought it was a bit too much white with the white stencil next to it. It didn't look quite right. I needed a bit of just a light touch of colour there. Now I've got these rub-ons from their Kaisercraft rub-ons, and it's a beautiful butterfly with all those curlicues either side, which I've had in my stash for quite a long while, so I didn't know if it would work, but I have been using some of these Kaisercraft stencil rub-ons on another project, and they've been working quite well, but I haven't tried them on all this mixed media. There's all the paint and the glue in the background that is on this page, and it still worked really well. I had to work quite a long time, so I've had to cut quite a bit out because I had to rub, but it did work, and it did come off nicely. You can see it's completely come away clean, the backing paper, so that's I was really pleased with how that came out because I didn't know how it would take on the mixed media background, so I decided to go in and do another one. So that was a butterfly. This is now a dragonfly, as you can see, and I thought that was the perfect spot for it, and that big blank space there. So again, I'm doing rubbing. I've got a sort of funny sharp tool there that works really well for this. I'm not quite sure what I bought the tool for. I don't think it was meant for rub-ons, but it's just sitting in my pot, so I thought it would work quite well, and it did. And at the bottom here, a little space at the bottom, I thought I'd do a third rub-on, and it's a little bird, and I thought they look really good there. Now I've got this sheet of chipboard frames. They're not very thick, they're quite a thin chipboard, and I thought I needed to create a focal point on my page. So I thought I'd start with this frame and just put some sort of floral arrangement in the middle. And first of all, I'm going to gesso it because I thought it perhaps needed a bit more colour, a bit more whitening, should I say. It was a little bit off-white, but I'm not sure that the gesso actually made it look any whiter than it did in the first place, but I gave it a go. And also it gave me the option, if I decided to put any paint on the frame, I could do that. But in the end, I decided to go with some washi. It's a really lovely washi, again in the same colour scheme as I've been using with my paints. So that is as floral, which is purple and turquoise. As you can see, it really matches beautifully with the paints. I think all these washis, I think there was 5 in a pack, all shades of purple and turquoise. So there's a little purpley sprig on that other piece of washi, and then this is a teal glitter washi, but it doesn't stick down very well, so I have to actually add a little bit of glue for that one because it seems to have lost its sticky. There we go, I'm just putting a bit of glue to make sure that sticks, and I'm just doing 3 strips on one side and the same 3 on the other side in sort of opposing corners. And then I'm just trying to pick out some flowers. You can see the flowers I've chosen are the similar lilac and purpley shades because the background is predominantly blue, so I thought the purple flowers would work quite well. So I've got a sort of a medium-sized, slightly shiny flower that I'm using there, with a couple of smaller ones. And I was going to put that butterfly on, and then I decided not to. A little butterfly that came off a sheet that came out of the September hip kit. And I'm just putting some foam pads on that flower because I need it just to stand a little bit above the level of the frame. I thought I'd just make sure those flowers sort of stand proud a little bit. So I put some of those foam pads on the flower. I'm just going to stick down the frame. Now I've decided that's what's going to go there. I've decided to commit to that space. Just pop it on there and get it around the right way. And I'm going to put one more foam pad in the middle of the flower, and that should sit nicely in the middle. And those are the two smaller ones. They're also I think they're little paper flowers. They're a slightly deeper colour. And I've got these metal. They're like little metal studs. They call them nail heads. They're like stickers. So they're flat backed, and they call them they're nail heads. So I've got purple ones, and I've got shiny lilac ones. And I decided to go for the ones that the paler ones, the lighter colour that would go in the middle of those two small flowers. So I'm going to stick those down on that bottom right corner. And then I'm going to put my flower in the middle. Just seeing that I'm happy with that. I'm thinking, shall I have another flower in the top left corner? In the end, I don't. I haven't quite made my mind up yet. I'm just trying to remove the little backing off though. You have to be so careful that the whole thing doesn't come away. Just taking that off and sticking that in the middle. And then I've got a couple of buttons that I picked out in the same colour scheme. So I've got a deep purple, or quite a bright purple button that I've got for the middle of that flower, and I've just put a little bit of embroidery thread through the middle just to give it you can see I just tied it through the holes in the middle to finish it off. And then I've got this larger flower because I thought it would need a sort of something on the other side, and I thought I'd go for the bigger, quite dark purple flower with the lilac button. So they're very much coordinating with the other flowers, and I thought I'd just put that dark purple one down on the left hand side. And now I've just because I had some strips of these nail heads, I thought I'll just stick some strips on there because they'll go quite well on the page, just down the middle of the flowers. I didn't cut them to size. What was left, one of the strips that was left, I just stuck them on. Now I'm working on my title. Unfortunately, I think I didn't quite show on camera what I'm using, and in fact I've started putting the title on while I was off camera, and they're actually they're puffy thickers, and it's called High Five, the font, and these obviously have got a variety of words on, and I just chose Think Happy because it seemed appropriate. This is what's all my happy colours. And you can see they're the two stickers I put on, the two word stickers I put on. I thought they were appropriate too. So thank you for joining me for my first venture into art journaling. I hope you liked it, and do join me again soon. I've got another one coming. Goodbye.